Hello everybody, this is the Daydreamer with Daydreams and Nightmares, and this is my latest edition of Welcome to My Collection Wednesdays. Today's subject is going to be Epic Comics. Epic Comics is an imprint from Marvel. It's kind of like DC Vertigo. DC wanted to do some more adult-oriented comic books that kind of fell outside the realm of your normal superhero comic books. Marvel also had an imprint here where they wanted to do some more explicit, adult-oriented, action-based comic books, and Epic was the imprint that they decided to use. What I'm going to show you are some of my Epic books, actually all of my Epic books. I only have about 15 here. Part of the reason is most of these are ones that I got in the 90s, and most of these had very, very, very short runs. The one that you're looking at in particular here is Pinhead versus Martial Law, Law in Hell. This was actually predates the other ones. This is all the other ones are going to be 93, 94, but this is Martial Law versus Pinhead. This was only a 2-book run. This is a book that was created based on Clive Barker character, and this particular one here, the cover you're looking at, is by Kevin O'Neill. This is Hell for Leather, put out in November of 1993. Like I said, this is only part 1 of 2. This is only a 2-parter. Pinhead versus Martial Law, Law in Hell. And Pinhead versus Martial Law, Law in Hell 2. I think the title on this was Hell to Pay. The cover on this was also done by Kevin O'Neill from Epic Comics. Now, the rest of these are all going to be from 93, 94. These are part of the Epic Comics heavy hitters. The 3 different titles I have here are Sachs and Violens, Dragon Lines, and Offcastes. The one that you're currently looking at is Sachs and Violens #1. Those are your 2 characters there. This is going to be their first appearance. And the thing about the Heavy Hitters Epic Comics from Marvel is that these were right at what I would say probably the peak of the worst of the comic books. 93 is where most people consider is where comics really started taking their downfall. This particular run of comic books didn't last very long. Actually, none of these in the Epic Comics did. The Sachs and Violens here were all artist, creator-based books. This one was, the creator behind this one was Peter David. There was only 4 issues involved in this. I also have Offcastes, which was created by Mike Vosberg, also known as Vaz. That only had a 3-issue run. And Dragon Lines, which I have here as well, which was a Ron Lim created martial arts based book, only had 4 issues in the first run and 2 issues in the second title. So there wasn't a lot of comic books involved in any of these. I showed you the 2 Martial Laws are the only 2 Law in Hell ones that were ever printed. Sachs and Violens, once again, was a creation by Peter David. There's only 4 issues involved. You're looking at issue #1 here. First appearance of the 2 title characters there on the cover. Let's see, cover art. Oh, believe it or not, one of my favorite artists of the 80s and 90s, George Perez, is actually involved in the creation of this as well. He's one of the 3 people involved with cover art here, with Alex J., George Perez, and John Stracuzzi. And we have Sachs and Violens #2. This one came out in May of 94, and actually that was part of the problem in dealing with these comic books too. This particular one came out in November of 1993, and it took until May of 1994 for issue number 2 to actually come out. And that is primarily the reason why I only have, and I actually have a second copy of this as well. I did do a lot of trading with comic books and wound up buying bunches of comic books during that period too. Some were easier to get rid of than others. So I do have actually quite a few doubles and triples from this period too, because I'd buy up collections, keep what I wanted, sell the rest, and in the end I wound up with some extras here. Anyway, this is Sachs and Violens number 2. And I did say this was only a 4-issue run, and I only have the 2. I didn't buy a third because I didn't know, like I said, from November to May to get to number 2, I didn't know how long I was going to have to wait to get number 3, so I just lost interest. But there is an issue 3 and an issue 4 out there. Another heavy hitter Epic Comics title, Offcastes. This takes place in the future. It's future Earth. It revolves around the story of Zach, which is this kid right here, and his guardian Grant. This was a 3-book run. The artist that was the creator behind this was Mike Vosberg, also known as Voz. I don't know if you can see down in the corner here. But this is Heavy Hitters Offcast number 1. Offcast Heavy Hitters number 2. Once again, Zach's down here. And Offcastes number 3. And that was the entire run of this before this got canceled as well. So this is the entire run of Offcastes. Next title, Epic Comics Heavy Hitters Dragon Lines. This was headed up by Ron Lim. This is a martial arts based comic book. This particular line of Dragon Lines had a 4-book run. This is Dragon Lines number 1, Mystical Martial Arts in the High-Tech Future. And it was Ron Lim here that did the cover art on these. Dragon Lines number 2, Battle at the Great Wall. Also done by Ron Lim. Heavy Hitters number 3, Dragon Lines. And this is the second run. Like I said, I don't have book number 4 in that run. These would have been issued from May of 1993 through August of 1993. And then this one here is Dragon Lines Way of the Warrior. There was only 2 issues actually of this one that were ever produced. Also done by Ron Lim. And actually, with respect to this, I actually have 2 copies of each of these. Introducing Tao, character of Tao. Dragon Lines Way of the Warrior number 1. And Dragon Lines Way of the Warrior number 2. These are all Epic Comics. There's even free Heavy Hitters trading cards inside, trivia contests and details, Showdown Under the Sea. Like I said, Dragon Lines Way of the Warrior. I've got 2 copies of this as well. This was only a 2-issue run, so I have basically the entire run of Dragon Issues Way of the Warrior as well. And that is it. Those are all my Epic Comic Marvel imprint comic books from basically 93, 94. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you see something here that you haven't seen before or haven't seen in a while. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like, subscribe if you want to watch more. Feel free to leave any comments down below. And thank you for watching.